My name's Edgar. Today, the topic that we will be debating is the lengthy presidential election cycle should be decreased by reducing the primary process and the announcement period. So first of all, for the last 4 presidential elections, the election cycle has continually kept increasing. For example, according to Alec McGillis from TheSlateReporter.com, a website known for its high reputation has reported that only in the last 2 presidential election cycles, the presidential campaigns have begun 21 months before Election Day. The last election cycle started 18 months before November 8th, and the one previous to that started 1 year and 4 months before November 8th. The length of the presidential election cycle is not only very lengthy, but also very complex. That is why we have decided to condense our efforts in exploring the benefits of reducing the major portions of the election process, which would be the primaries and the announcement period. Over the last couple of decades, the argument for having lengthier presidential election cycles has been that the public would, given at the time, would be more informed and better prepared to select their president when November 8th finally rolled around. However, that argument is very loosely based and quite false. For example, this past election cycle lasted a whopping 567 days, according to Yuri Friedman from TheAtlantic.com. And in this time, the 2 major candidates, according to the Washington Post, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump spent a staggering $2.4 billion combined in their campaigns. However, when this is taken into consideration, and we take into consideration the voter turnout, the conclusion is that the voters are still not compelled or even interested enough to even vote. As put by Zishan Alim from Mike.com, the exceptional amount of time and money doesn't produce an engaging democratic process. The U.S. ranks near the bottom in terms of voter participation when compared with other developed nations. So if the argument to have a lengthier process doesn't serve to help the voter, why is it so long? The main reasons as to why the presidential elections have been so long are because several candidates want to announce earlier and earlier, mainly because not because they want to gain any political cheap points, or because they want to, or because they want to attract a larger fan base, but simply they want to attract larger campaign contributors, larger corporations that can help their campaign and let them go longer. Also, they try to sway the competition their side, and they want to win those major campaign contributors before their competitors. Campaign contributors, like large corporations, can prove harmful because they will sway the way in which candidates make policy decisions and the type of legislation that they're pushing for. These policies and legislations may not necessarily be in the best interest of the nation. This method of early announcement causes for lengthier cycles, which make the process that much more difficult and prolonged. Nevertheless, the problem is the primary process. According to CQ's Encyclopedia of American Government, the Presidency A to Z Congressional Quarterly from 1994, the part of the election process that takes the majority amount of time is the primary process. The primary process is the lengthier part of the process due to the fact that the awarding of delegates is subjective to every state and every political party. This entire process is over 12 months. The fact that the primary process is not only long but very complicated proves that there must be changes where the American voter can actually not only be able to understand the process, but should be able to make a reasonable and informed choice where money and time don't play into factors that may sway a voter negatively, or even worse, to the point of not voting. One of the ways that we can solve the length and difficulty of the process is by implementing and adopting techniques used by other advanced countries. For example, if we implement campaign spending laws like Mexico's, where according to Ciara Torres Spelisi from the Brennan Center for Justice, Mexico's 2012 presidential candidates only have a $27 million limit, and campaign funding flows through Mexico's political parties, much of whom are publicly funded. Moreover, candidates cannot accept private contributions. We can force candidates, if we implement this system here in the United States, We can most likely force candidates in the United States to reduce the time that they are able to campaign because they have less money, and therefore the primary process would have to be condensed to further help the now limited candidates due to their lack of spending power. Moreover, if we continue to implement functioning systems from other advanced nations to our nation, we can make our primary shorter, more condensed, and simpler to understand. For example, if we implement a system like that of France, we can have a system that would reduce the primary process to a 2-round system that would still allow for all candidates to run, and would decrease the process from 12 months of only primaries to 6 weeks of a full presidential election cycle. A simpler and much faster cycle would allow for the voter to become more informed in a faster cycle and let the country run at a better pace. Overall, the United States needs to implement and adopt rules that actually help the voter and that reduces the time of the cycle and limits the influence of big business in the elections. Overall, the United States needs to follow and master and become the perfect representation of what other countries already implement. For example, the 7 major Western countries, the United Kingdom, Denmark, Sweden, the Netherlands, Australia, Canada, Switzerland, and Finland have laws that limit the time of an election cycle, the amount of money spent per campaign, and the enforcement of voter participation. So if these 7 major countries have a system that implements democratic values, then we, the United States, should not only implement those values but master them and be the overall representation of what a true democracy is.